How to start dropshipping on Shopify. So in this video, you're going to learn exactly the steps you need to take to officially start dropshipping on Shopify. So let's start. So before we start, of course, you need to make sure you have a Shopify account. Now, if you don't have one, no worries. You can use the link in the description below to get a deal where you'll be able to use Shopify for 3 days. And then after those 3 days, you can use Shopify for $1 a month for 3 months. So once you create an account using the link in the description below, right, and you log in, this is the admin that you'll be accessing to start using Shopify for dropshipping. All right. So first, what is dropshipping, right? So that's something we need to understand first. So dropshipping is a great way to generate income without having to own stock on Shopify. So for example, let's say you're selling, the dog toothbrushes, right? But you don't actually own the stock in your room or in your house, right? So how this works is when a customer reaches your store, right, they purchase the item, and once they successfully purchase the item, it will send a message to the vendor. So the vendor could be AliExpress, it could be Alibaba, right? Those are the vendors, right? And then once they get the message that they need to ship something, they will handle the shipping to the customer. So you don't have to worry about any logistics. And that's one of the benefits about why dropshipping is so popular, because you don't have to own the stock. Okay? And the next thing is that customers, right, but they buy from your store, right? Supplier ships the product to customer, low startup costs, right? So like you could use the Shopify link in description below, right, to start for 3 days for free, and then like $1 a month for 3 months, right? And you don't need a warehouse or inventory to start, right? Which is one of the best, which is one of the benefits about this, right? One of the easiest things about this is that it's easy to start, right? There's low cost, and you could run from a laptop from pretty much anywhere in the world. Now there is cons, right? Shipping times. You don't control the shipping times, right? So once that item is purchased from your store, right, you don't control how fast the vendor ships the item to your customer, right? That's all controlled by them. It's competitive, yes, right? Because it's very easy to start and it's low cost, right? And of course you'll need to have marketing skills, or at least invest some time into marketing your store. If you're not a well-known person, right, and nobody knows about your store, then you will need people to you will need to create, like, let's say IG reels, you'll need to create TikTok reels, TikTok videos, you'll need to create Facebook ads, right, just to get people and traffic to your Shopify store. All right, so now to create a store, right, you'll be able, so once you create your store, right, you don't need to worry about the name, right? Name, you can change it anytime, in the future, right? I'm gonna move this here, right? So once you create your store, right, you're gonna need to find products to sell on for dropshipping on Shopify, right? So one of the first things I recommend you do, right, is download this free application called DSERS, right? So DSRS, right, is a way for you to do dropshipping without having to own the product, right? So it's free to download into your Shopify account, right? You can download from the Shopify App Store. Once you download the DSER application, right, you could go ahead and locate products. Now, one of my favorite features about this application, right, is that you can do product research as well from here, right? So you can see what videos are trending, right, what products are trending as well, right? And again, you don't have to worry about looking for this application. I'll have the link for this in the description below so you guys can use it, right? And so when you look here, right, you can find a lot of trending products. Let's say you find a product that you like, right? Let's from using the product research feature, right? Now we're here, and we can locate products, right? And let's say we like this product, the belt, right? We did our research, right, and we know now that this is the product that we want to sell, right? So what you'll want to do, of course, is just add to import list. Just select here, and it's imported. When you click on import list, it will show up right here, right? And let's say for this video, I'm going to focus on dogs, right? This was just an example of how to add to import list, right? So we'll use this. You click here, push to store, and you just make sure you selected the right store, right? So we're selecting this one, general profile, and then push to store. And now it's officially being added to my Shopify store. So now we see it's been complete. So to confirm, we could go back to Shopify, we go back to our products, and there it is. There's the product officially done. Now, of course, you'll want to just update the title, right, to make sure it's, SEO optimized, right? So pet hair removal, portable wash, clothed hair. I mean, this is okay, right? I would do like let's pretend that we're focusing on cats only, right? So cat hair removal, right, for glove, washable hair deshairing, and then just remove this, right? Because a lot of just keyword stuffing that I don't like, right? And so from here, we'll just update the photos and remove these photos because they're just replicated of what we have in the media section. All right, so now we added it, and we're gonna just remove this. We don't need this. We will add description. We can use the AI feature for that. All right, so now we have it here. Not sure why this is. What the beep? That's strange. That's like a bug, I guess, from Shopify's end. Yeah, it's a bug on Shopify's end. There we go. I'll make sure I save it because I do not want to go through that again. So now we saved it. We have images, right? Right here, we'll update the price, right? So like this is what Alibaba is selling it. Maybe you'll want to sell it for like $25, right? Save this again. So now we're selling it, right, for $25. The SEO is updated, right? And it's only coming in one variant, so we're not gonna go too crazy on that. And so we just added our very first dropshipping product without actually owning this product, right? And that's what I like about DSR, right? They handle all of the images, so we could just use the default images, right? A lot of the titles was already done. Description, you can use AI just to update the description, right? So now that we have our product added, right? The next thing in our step, right, is to go to our online store and review our theme, right? So we did product research, right? A helpful tip actually before we go into our theme is using Koala Inspector, right? So if you're still doing product research, right, on a product, right, and on if you find like, let's say, a Shopify store that you really want, like you want to replicate, right, you can use this free app. I'll have the link in the description below, right, for it. And it's a free Google Chrome extension that literally allows you to spy on other Shopify stores, right? You can see their top products that they're selling, right? You can even see what apps they're using, what themes they're using as well, right? So it's a very powerful application, right? Highly recommend you check it out. When you're first starting out dropshipping on Shopify, this app will be really helpful. All right, so we already did the product export, right? So now we need to do theme edits, right? So one of the things, right, is don't overcomplicate the store design, right? Since we're only selling one product, right, we don't need to go that crazy. So for this, we're gonna use just a fresh theme here, and we're gonna use Horizon, right? We're gonna use a fresh version of Horizon. And let's just refresh. It's probably already done installing. There we go. Yes, done. We can click on edit theme. Now, for the first time, if this is your first time in the theme editor, it might feel a little bit scary, right? Don't worry, it's not scary, right? It's pretty straightforward. Is when you click on certain sections, right, on the right side, you'll have more options to customize that very section, and you know which section you're highlighting because it's always it's selected in this blue box, right? You'll know. So for this, we're gonna just change some things around. So first, we're gonna delete this. All right. Since I'm only selling one product, it doesn't make sense for me to have a section for many products, right? The next thing is we're gonna use, you know, some of the free images here, right? So cat. If I was smart enough, I would have used just the images from DSR, right? So I would have just used these images that they provide me with, right? Right here, right? I would have just used these images for myself, right? But because I forgot to download them, we're gonna use the default images here. So we're gonna use this cat image here, and this one's pretty cool. And then from here in the section, right? Because we want a section here to show our product, right? We're gonna just have a simple product page. Product. Wait, nope, stay. Product. Here we go. All right, and then because I'm pretty sure I forgot to make the product live, it's active, but yeah, it's not published anywhere. So we just need to make sure we have it published. And there we go, save. So now we can go back to online store, go to edit theme, and then once we're here, selected here, select the right product that we want to sell, and there we go, right? So I would just like have this simple thing right here so that people can know, like, yeah, right. I'll leave the button to not all products, but like literally the product page. Update that. Make sure I click save. Right, and then when I go to products, right? If I go to products here, it will take me to the product page. Right, super simple, easy, right? You don't need to worry too much, right? Of course, you could go even much more like design-wise. You could do something if you wanted to keep it for like your first product and your first dropshipping store. You don't really need to go too customized, too custom, right? We could go back to our home page, and we're gonna just do settings, theme settings, colors, and we're gonna just change it to green. Yeah. This one. Sometimes it takes a little longer to save. There we go. We're gonna just do this. I mean, you could just make it a little bit different. Color schema and schema. There we go. I would also, I know we can do, when I used to work at Shopify, and remember we can customize the whole store by here instead of having to go page by page, right? Let's just go back to shop all. Yeah, so we're good. Well, okay, got this updated. So it's already pretty much updated. There we go. Like, I'll add something like this, right? Just keep it simple and then save. Right, just so that it has a little bit of like, you know, warmth tone to it. So now that we have that done, right, we'll need to add pages, right? Important pages to your store. You could do this under pages right here. Once you select here, right, you can select add page, right? And then you could have it to set visible or hidden, right? Because I already have it visible, everything, so we're good here. And to make sure you want to add it to your main menu, just go to content, go to menu, main menu, And then from here, you'll be able to customize it. Right, so here we'll just have the single product page, and then here we'll just have the about us, pages, back, about us, all right, save. So now if we go back to our theme store, go to the latest Horizon theme, there it is, about us, and if I click products, it should take me to the single store, the single product that we're selling, so that's good. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, of course, like I said, when you're first starting out, you don't really need to go too crazy since you're selling just one product, right? One dropshipping product, right? After you've done your research using Koala Inspector, right? Or Shopify Spy. And once you do that, right, and you're ready to publish, just click publish and it will replace this. So if I click it right now, it will replace this theme that I have right here, right? So now this is the main theme that people will see, right? And it's pretty simple, easy. That's 1, 2, 3. So once you've done that, right, we're gonna need to move on and go to our settings and update our Shopify payments, right? So you'll need to So you'll need to update this, right, to start accepting payments. Now, if your country does not support Shopify payments, then you'll need to use another third-party provider, right, or even like your own Stripe account, right, as well, right? But if you're in Canada or another country that does support Shopify payments, you will need to use Shopify payments. It's forced onto you. The only way you can use your own if you don't want to use Shopify payments, you want to use your own Stripe account, the only way to do that is by like being pretty much suspended by Shopify payments, and then you'll be allowed to use Stripe instead. And then we'll recommend, to set up PayPal. So this will just be helpful to make sure to give your customers different options to pay, right? Maybe they want to use PayPal to pay, so you just have to set this up once and you'll be good to go. And then shipping delivery is very important, right? So you want to select general profile, and you want to make sure you have your in the market. So if you go to markets page, right, as you can see here, I don't have the United States set up, right? And I only have Canada. So that means, let's say if an American finds my store, right, and they want to buy the cat hair removal, right, they won't be able to check out. It will show on their end that the product's out of stock, right? And they won't even be able to add it to the cart. But if a Canadian finds my store and they buy it, they'll be able to check out perfectly. Why is that? Well, first off, because I don't have the market set up properly here. Second, once I have, let's say I have the United States market set up properly, right? I go to general profile, and once I have it properly set up, right, they'll be able to check out, right? So right now, only Canadians are allowed to check out, not the Americans or anybody else out in the world, right? Only Canadians. And that's because the market's not set up properly. Once you set up markets properly, right, different customers from different parts of the world will be able to check out and add the product to your cart successfully. And then the last thing you're going to want to do, of course, is do domains. So you're going to want to use a domain, right, to make your store look legit. You can use a domain from Shopify, right? It's a little bit more expensive, but like they'll handle the connection. Or you can use something like Hostinger. I'll have the link to this in the description below so you guys get a little cheaper the domain. And yeah, you'll be able to connect your Shopify domain to your store, right? And so now I just want to share with you some apps that you might want to use going forward for your online store, right? So if we go to apps, I'll recommend apps, Shopify App Store. You're going to want to use a few apps once you've successfully complete your drop shipping, right? First off, you're going to want to download DSR, right? You're going to want to do that. You're going to want to download as well Koala Inspector. Again, I'll have the links for this in the description below. You're going to want to download as well you're going to want to download the Shopify Forms, right? It's a good one. You're going to want to download as well Shopify Flow and Shopify Messaging, right? These few apps will help you so much in your dropshipping store, because if you're spending so much time organically or on ads, right, you want to have this Shopify Messaging and Shopify Flow. Let's say a customer likes one of the products, they add it to cart, right? They go to checkout, but they don't complete the checkout process, right? They just close it, right? So what you can do there is set up a flow where it'll send them an email, be like, hey, you forgot to check out. Do you want to check this out? Like, do you want to like buy this? and like you can send them emails, right? Automation emails, and this will help. You will be surprised how many um, sales you get from that. I remember helping a friend with their Shopify store, and I set up that flow, abandoned checkout email, the flow. Like on day one, I start to generate sales for them, right? And so yeah, you just want to have this Shopify messaging, Shopify flow, must have. Right? And so yeah, and after that, right, you're just gonna need to again, marketing, right, is a little bit harder. So you will need to do like either organic TikTok, right, organic Instagram Reels, right, showing the product, you know, uploading 3 to 4 videos a day, right, and just like pushing a lot of content to get that traffic to your store, right, and then having the link of your Shopify store on your profile on TikTok and on Instagram, right. If you want to go a faster route to try to generate sales faster, right, you might want to take a look at ads, right, TikTok ads or Facebook Meta ads, right. Of course, it does cost money, but maybe you can start like with $5-10 a day, right, and see if it's worth it for you. Maybe you want to try for like at least a month, right, of running those ads and just like trying different ads every 3 days, uploading different type of creatives to see which one hits, right? Because Facebook is getting smarter where like if you don't refresh the ads, right, then Facebook is just not going to show that same. It's going to be showing the same ad to the same person, right? And if it didn't work the first time, it's not going to work the second time, right? So you want to have fresh ads every like 2 or 3 days. And so yeah, getting your first sale, right? Don't expect overnight success, right? Test products, you know. You just have to keep showing up and just create good videos, marketing, right? And yeah, and subscribe to my free email newsletter and comment down below like any questions you might have. I'll try to help you out in the comments down below. And so that's pretty much it. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.